Hello, in this lesson we're going to go over making a TV set in Maya, just a very simple one. And to start us off, we're just going to look at some of the Maya shortcut keys we'll be using. Obviously the general navigation of the camera that you're looking through, and I have them for both Mac and PC, which would be Windows. And it's rotating the camera, panning the camera, and zoom, which in camera terminology would be tumble for rotate, track for pan, and dolly for zoom. Tumble meaning it's rotating around, tracking meaning it's panning, moving up, down, left to right, and dollying is like it's on wheels and you're zooming it, running it forward and back into whatever it is that you're looking at. For Windows, this would be Alt left mouse button, Alt middle mouse button, or Alt right mouse button, and if you're on a Mac, it would be the Option key in place of Alt, left mouse button, middle mouse button, and right mouse button. Thing to remember, I'm recording this on a PC, on a Windows platform, and what that basically means is at the bottom, all of my shortcut keys, you'll hear the clicks and you'll see at the bottom which keys I'm using and which shortcuts. So instead, if you're on a Mac and you see the Alt come up at the bottom, that means use the Option key instead. You don't have, there's not an Alt alternate button on the Mac. It's just an Option key. And for the general tools, the Move tool. So this is not for the camera. This is when you have an object. W, when you have an object selected, you've clicked on it, a polygonal box or whatever is in your scene. W will allow you to pull up the manipulator to move it, E to rotate it, and R to scale it. And we'll talk more about these guys in a second, so let's get started. So, let's get rid of this guy and we'll start clean. So I'm in my polygons menu, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a cube. And now ideally you'd want to have an image that you're basing this off of. What we're going to do is just do a really quick variation to make this. And to do this, we're going to go in and we are going to, let's move this up. I press W, move it up, zoom out. And let's say I'm going to scale this guy so it is somewhat looking more like a TV set shape or a monitor shape. And remember, the scale is only relative to how big this is next to a human. So let's just start it off. We're just going to make a very simple one. So I'm using my W to move. I'm not grabbing from the center because that moves it in all three axes, the X, the Z, and the Y, from the angle I'm looking at it. So I'm just going to use the arrows, and that way it's locked into a certain angle or axis. We can see in the channel box over to the right that anytime I make a change, we can see, oh, I'm moving it on the X. There it is there, see? So let's get it there. Let's make it a little bit thinner. Not much, just a little bit thinner. And let's say this is going to be the front. So I'm going to right click on it, right click and hold, and go to face mode, and just left mouse click once to select the face. Now only left mouse click once, because if I do a drag, oops, then I'm, depending on my selection settings, I might actually get things behind it, but they're actually locked to whatever I see in the camera, which is nice. So I've got one face selected, and I'm going to go up to my extrude key, this one right here, the inside of my polygon shelf. Here's the extrude. I'm just going to click that once. Do not click it more than once. Oop. And that pulls up a menu, so I can either scale it manually or I can use my little menu that pops up here. And I will offset that just a little bit, like 0.4, give it a little frame. And I'm extruded one more time. and just push that back in just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a lip. Okay. If I want to make it so it's not quite as sharp, there's a little bit of a bevel, I could actually go in and the offset and just bring that in just a little bit, and you can see it kind of beveled that, tapered it in a little bit, which would soften that out a little. Now I'm going to go to the back, and let's say it's more like a monitor or an older TV, not the ridiculously paper thin ones that we have now, just so we can add some details. So I select that face. I'm still in right click hold face mode. Select that face, extrude. This time I'm just going to manually do it. So the arrows allow you to move whatever you have selected, but the boxes allow you to scale them. There we go. And the arrows move. See? So I didn't really use the menu that time. I just basically manually did it with the manipulator. You can use either one. This one gives me more control because I can do it non-uniformly. Okay, so now I've got that down, and I'm just going to add some details back here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to do a little something different. So it's buckled out a little bit. Let's say we need a place where someone would plug in their power cords and the HDMI and anything else you're plugging into it. And I could do something, actually let's tweak it. I'm just going to do it like this, because a lot of TVs do this now, where they'll have ports on different parts of the machine. So say I'm going to click on this side, and I'm going to shift and just click, left mouse click on this side, and I'm going to hit both the sides highlighted. I'm going to hit extrude, and I'm going to offset them just a little bit like so, and I'll extrude one more time. This time, you notice the manipulator's at an angle. So if I actually try and do it, it will push in. It's pushing in at an angle. This one is going in that way. This one is going in that way. And actually, for what we're doing, that should work out fine. If I decided I wanted them to flatten themselves out like this surface, I would actually just press R and then scale them to themselves to flatten them just like that. See? Gives me a lot deeper. Press Z to undo that if I didn't need as much space. Okay. And let's do one more down here. Extrude, offset, extrude again, push that in, or I could do it this way. Remember, I use the scale. This will give me a different effect. So I scale this to itself to flatten it, but you'll know it's doing this weird thing because it's going in a direction that's not very natural for it. It's kind of breaking its borders, so I'm going to push that back in like so. That gives me a nice flat edge here. And then I could pretend like, oh, this is where the plugs and the power and all that stuff would go. If I said, oh, there's supposed to be a spot here at the bottom, like an extra part, I'll just grab that face, you got it, extrude again, and just pull that down a little bit. Nice. And then I could decide what kind of a stand I would want for this. And maybe even go here, hit extrude, shrink that down a bit, now just non-uniformly, and I'll extrude again. And this is so I could use that to attach or make it appear like it's attached to something like a stand or a wall mount or something. So I didn't spend a lot of time not going like totally nuts with the detail, but just to have something recognizable. Okay. And I'm just going to save this file, save scene as. I'll just call this one TV1. Or better yet, project 1 underscore A. And that's how we just build this, and we'll continue it on in our next video.